After nearly 3 decades covering the Buffalo Bills, this guy knows what he's talking about. Welcome to SalSpeak, the place to be for hard-hitting analysis from Sal Maiorana of the Democrat and Chronicle.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to SalSpeak. I am Sal Maiorana, and I'm joined today by Jeff DiVeronica, and we're on the Facebook Live version of the podcast this week. We appreciate you for being here. If your friends aren't on, go tell them to get on right now, because Jeff and I have some good things we're going to talk about today, leading off with Tyrod Taylor.
Not all good. I might say good things, you will not.
Yeah, I probably won't. It's been a hot topic all week. I spent one of my columns, actually 2 of my columns now already, talking about Tyrod and his future, coming off a game where the Bills had a 24-9 lead on the road in Oakland, and the quarterback and the defense had a role in it, obviously, but the quarterback was absolutely horrible. And I think we're 26 games into Tyrod's career as a Buffalo Bills starter, and I've seen enough. I don't know what you guys think. Apparently Jeff is going to disagree with me. I don't see how the Bills move forward and pick up that option on the contract next year that will kick in a $27 million fee for next year. I think the Bills have to move on, Jeff. I think everyone knows what I think about it based on what I wrote this week.
Well,
Give me your thought.
You make great points, and I think
I always make great points. We should know that right away, right?
Unless something changes in the next 4 games, I agree with you. I don't think he's worth the $27.5 million that they're going to be on the hook for next year. However, why are we in such a rush to make this decision now? What if Tyrod Taylor does something he hasn't done, which would be rare, hit it out of the park the next 4 games? Then you wouldn't change your mind?
I don't think it's going to happen. And we've already had 26 games of watching this guy play.
Now,
nothing has changed, Jeff, in the way this kid has played from day one in 2015 to now. His game has not changed at all. He's 14-12. That's as average as it gets. And if the Bills are going to make the playoffs, they need better than 14-12 from their quarterback.
Agreed. How many of those games has he had his full complement of receivers?
Okay, he has not had his full complement very often.
That's a pretty good. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't care if it's Tate or Watkins. Sometimes he just misses throws.
He does.
Okay, a lot of times, actually.
And too often, Jeff, he misses guys who get open. That's the problem with Tyrod. Tyrod, we've watched this kid for almost 2 years now. He makes dynamic plays. There are plays he makes scrambling around.
Well, he's better on the freelance plays than
that no other quarterback can make. The problem, Jeff, is that the standard plays an NFL quarterback needs to make before all that scrambling starts. If he would just stand back there and deliver the ball on time where it's supposed to go, that's what causes him to start running around, because he holds the ball too long. He does not make good decisions. He doesn't make quick decisions. And in the NFL, I'll give you a perfect example. The interception in the end zone against Oakland, when that game was...
You're right about this.
That game was in the midst of being a complete train wreck. They were losing control. He goes back into his own end zone, Jeff, where you have to drop back and get rid of it.
Yeah, the clock in your head has to go off.
2, 3, 4 seconds. Khalil Mack, one of the best pass rushers in the league. You have to realize at some point that guy's going to get there. It's exactly what happened. He tipped his arm, interception, ball game over. That's the kind of play I'm talking about. There were plays in that game, Jeff. He started off great. He was 8 of 9 for 102 yards the first quarter. All of a sudden, it went away. He had guys open. He doesn't throw the ball on time. He leaves a clean pocket too often. There's just so many things that he doesn't do well enough in the passing game. Jeff, they're number 1 in the league in rushing. I'm not going to let you talk. They're number 1 in the league in rushing by a long shot. Nobody runs the ball like the Bills. That should be the perfect recipe for a quarterback to succeed. They're 32nd in the pass because he can't get it done.
Good point. I don't like, one thing I don't like is, the inaccuracies. I said that. There are times when he just misses throws. In fact, there was one that Shady McCoy made. It was like a screen pass that things were breaking down, and all Taylor's got to do is flip it 6 feet to his left. Right. And McCoy made this amazing one-handed pull down, and it was a big play and a big gain. But he doesn't. This whole thing about protecting the lead, and he doesn't throw interceptions, and he protects the ball. Great, but sometimes you need to take a chance as a quarterback and let your guys make a play. Now, again, Sammy Watkins making a play and Woods making a play is different than some of the other guys they've had. But it's funny. Our friend Carl Falk was saying about who's the guy, the tall guy that's catches all the time? Hunter catches all the
Justin
touchdowns.
Hunter,
Okay.
yeah.
There was a ball thrown a couple weeks ago and for a touchdown, and Tyrod was on the run,
Right.
and it was high, and he went up and got it,
It was
over two
maybe
people.
his best pass of that game.
But you know what? He didn't throw that there to let Hunter go make a play. He almost missed the throw.
No, he did.
Baloney.
No, I give him credit for that. That ball had to be thrown up there, and
But did he throw it? It had to be thrown up there, agreed. But was it intentional?
No, I think it was.
Okay.
That's the one time I will
disagree
give
on
him.
that, too.
Yeah, I will give him credit for that. That was his best throw. That was the game he threw.
But he doesn't do that enough.
He threw a 60-yard bomb to Watkins, which was perfect. That's one of his strengths. He throws the deep ball. The throw you're talking about was one of those precise throws that every quarterback has to make, and he knew there were two guys right there for Jacksonville.
What do you mean he knew? How do you know he knew?
He had to throw that ball where he threw it.
Maybe it was just an accurate throw, and it worked out because he had a good receiver.
That's what I'm saying. He threw that ball specifically in that spot. It was one of the few good throws he's made the last 3 weeks.
That's where we're disagreeing. I don't think he threw it.
You think it was
specifically.
lucky?
I think he was a bad throw. It ended up being an inaccurate throw, but that was where it needed to be.
All right, well, we disagree on that, too. I'm actually giving him credit for that
Well,
one. I thought it was
think,
a good play.
I just think that to write him off right now, is a little premature. So let's wait 4 games, and then the Bills will do their dance all
wait
offseason.
4 games.
Here's my other question to all the non-Tyrod guys. And again, we've seen Dak Prescott, Carson Wentz. We've seen young guys come in and really knock it out of the park to a degree. Prescott certainly has. Who do you want to get?
I know. That's the issue. There's no plan
Tony
B.
Romo's not coming here, and he would get killed.
That's what my Twitter followers are asking me. Okay, you say you're done with Tyrod Taylor. Well, what's your answer to that? And they're right. There is no viable plan B. They have Cardale Jones as their rookie 4th-round pick this year. He's not even remotely close. I'm not sure he could go back to Ohio State and start for Ohio State right now. They're in the college football playoff. He's not ready, and he's nowhere near being ready. If you draft a guy this year and let Cardale Jones and whoever you draft battle it out, that really isn't ideal either. And the Bills have a team that I think with competent quarterback play could be a playoff team. So if you get rid of Tyrod, you really are nowhere unless you say, like, if Romo would come here for a year and be a caddy or maybe a Jay Cutler, someone like that. I can see the Bills trying it, but I'll give you this. I think they should move on. I fear they're not going to be able to because there really is nowhere to turn. But they're going to be stuck with this guy.
And will you really be making a step forward if you go to another quarterback
again? You're right.
I have another question about him because the progression, the reads, he locks in on one guy still too much, right? He doesn't make the throw where he needs to make it or when he needs to make it. I'm wondering, and again, you've stood next to this guy a lot more than me. Is he too short to play quarterback behind that line?
Well, that's an issue.
It's not. People talk about he can't see. Maybe that's why he doesn't make progressions.
That is an issue. He does not use the middle of the field. It's one of his biggest weaknesses, quite frankly. I think that's an issue. But you know what? The Bills knew that was going to be a problem when they brought him in. Okay. They loved the fact that he could get out of the pocket and then he'd be able to see the passing lanes while he was running around.
But I'd like to see more of that.
Well, I would too. You know, let's go to a few questions here because people are already jumping on this topic. Let's see. We've already answered this question. If the Bills move on from Tyrod, what's the plan B? We really don't have a plan B. We're trying to figure that out as we go. Someone just says hello. Hi, how you doing, Milan? Good to see you there. Lee Alexandra says Tyrod is not an NFL quarterback. The Bills need to make a change. They have a lot of talent, but they aren't going to make the playoffs with him. That's an issue. That's what I said. I think the Bills have enough pieces in place on this team.
Well, let's hang on. They're a couple plays away from being in a good playoff position right now. Literally a couple plays.
Well, I would say a couple of games. I think there's been plenty of plays in certain games that had they made, they would have won the game.
Seattle
was definitely one of those games. And last week, they were up 24-9 in the third quarter. If you make a couple plays in that game, you win the game.
But you're pinning that on Tyrod more than the team that gave up all those points, defense that gave up all those points.
When it was 24-9, okay, over the next 13 minutes and whatever seconds it was there, the Raiders had the ball 5 possessions, scored 4 times.
Right,
Defense was horrible.
3-and-out, right?
Bills ran, in that period of time, the Bills ran 10 offensive plays, gained 9 yards, and had an interception. You tell me, Raiders score a touchdown, maybe the Bills put together a drive, run some clock, get a field goal out of it, that rally might not continue.
So
the offense did nothing to and they gave the Raiders the ball at the 16-yard line and once on the 38 after a terrible punt by Colton Schmidt. So
no doubt they put the defense in a terrible spot.
I get the defense was horrible, but they had some things working against them.
Here's my other question. All right. So if you keep Tyrod Taylor as your starter, you don't think he's capable of I mean, are we saying that he's hit his ceiling? He's not
Oh, I
going
think
to
he
improve?
has. Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. This is the exact player he was in college. It was funny. Just this morning, somebody tweeted out a scouting report from when Taylor was coming out of Virginia Tech for the draft in 2011. I read through this thing. It is stunning how accurate it was.
Is what you would say about him today?
Exactly,
Really?
almost to the T. The same weaknesses that he has right now were all lined up based on how he had played at Virginia Tech and projecting him to the NFL. This guy said
right.
he'd be a 5th or 6th round pick. Guess what? He was a 6th round pick who sat 4 years behind a good quarterback in Baltimore. This guy, his prediction for Tyrod, he'd always be a backup quarterback.
And indeed, his jump should have, his improvement should have been greater so far. I agree with that. But and it is scary to think that what they were saying 8 years ago or 6 years ago is the same thing they're saying now. So maybe he has hit the ceiling. But again, is there someone else out there? So,
That's the problem. Andrew John wants to know.
But would people have said Dak Prescott a year ago at this time?
No, absolutely. He's a 4th round
that's what
pick.
I'm saying.
I know. There are guys they could find out there. It's, diamond in the rough
Right.
type of stuff. They've tried this before, but there is no plan B. I get it. We've got a couple questions here. Andrew John mentions you want to get the ball downfield, pick up Jay Cutler. Jay Cutler might be available. I mean,
He's not
another
a leader of men. No,
No,
thank you.
he's not. He's another guy that would be a 1-year Band-Aid if they have a plan in place to draft a guy and maybe Cardale Jones they think can develop. A Tony Romo or a Jay Cutler as a 1-year answer is certainly an option. The other option, too, that we haven't discussed yet, they could null the contract with Tyrod and cut him and then renegotiate. If I'm Tyrod Taylor, I'm flipping up Bills the Bird there and moving on.
But where's he going? But where's he going?
Well, I think he would have a market. There'd be teams. The Bears stink. The 49ers stink. The Jets are looking for a quarterback.
Okay.
I mean, the guy's played, by the end of the season, he'll have played 30 NFL games as a starter if he doesn't get hurt. He'll have a market, I think. I just don't think it works in Buffalo.
I don't think his market's going to give him $27 million, do you?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
That's his problem. He had a chance to do it. He had a chance to play well this year and make the Bills pick up that option for next year and kick the money in. He didn't do it. At least to my eyes, he hasn't done it.
Yeah.
As far as I know, the Bills are they're doing the Snoopy dance maybe back in One Bills Drive, thinking that this is the guy. I can't imagine they are. But for all I know, Whaley is in his office
but we know
celebrating Tyrod Taylor.
Rex is defiant about this guy.
Well, Rex loves him.
So that's a big factor here.
It is.
So what is this? Chip Kelly. Why are you talking about Chip Kelly?
I don't know why they're talking about it. Who's talking about Chip Kelly?
Chip Kelly
Chip
for
Kelly.
Rex? Come on.
No. What has Chip Kelly done in the NFL? Chip Kelly should be back in college.
Right.
His offense works in college. He should find a job in Division I somewhere and go do that.
40
Somebody
wins.
else here.
Cutler's a baby. Agreed.
Let's see. Somebody has a question
This
about
guy, this backup guy, who he played like.
Scott
Tolzien.
Tolzien. Yeah.
I just saw him a couple weeks ago.
Sorry, that's not happening.
Yeah.
Somebody asked about Gilmore. Here it is, Johnny Bones. Sal, would you pay Gilmore next year? Stephon Gilmore has had an up and down year, Jeff. He's been very good in some games. He's been not very good in others. And to me, a lockdown cornerback really has to be good every week. You're getting generally the best receiver, although the Bills kind of stay on their own side. Darby plays one side, Gilmore the other. But I think the Bills need more from Stephon Gilmore. He wants a humongous contract. I do not do it. Yeah. They've got Darby in place already. Kevon Seymour, who they like, they drafted him this year. Tough game last week.
And is it easier to go in the draft and try to find a good quarterback
right.
who can play
so
right away?
I think they let Gilmore go. I don't imagine that they're going to bring him. I mean, they could tag him, and it would cost $13 million, I think, to tag him for 1 year. I don't think they're going to do that. So no, I don't see that happening. All right,
I want someone who can punt. How many bad games has Schmidt had?
He hasn't had many. Okay. Last week was a bad game, and I gave him an F for his performance.
Yes,
he did not have a good game. He didn't help the Bills at all. All right, I want to talk about the Steelers because we're already 15 minutes into this. They're 6-6.
You're clearly predicting a Bills loss.
I'm not clearly predicting anything.
Okay.
I think this is a game that's going to be very close, to be quite honest, and it could go either way. Steelers come in 7-5, Jeff, and they're in a tough spot too. They are not leading their division. Baltimore, I think they're one game behind Baltimore, or tied with Baltimore, whatever it is. But I think Baltimore has a tiebreaker. That's what it is. They need to win the game. The AFC West right now has the 2 wild card spots in control. Kansas City and Denver are both in the driver's seat there. This is the kind of game that gives me pause for the Bills because the Steelers know how to win this kind of game. They are a veteran.
Well, they also have 3 amazing
They do.
offensive
They're
talents.
a veteran team with a good coach that knows how to win in big spots on the road. Buffalo, I think, lacks. We saw that last week. That was a big spot on the road for the Bills to win, and didn't get it done. I think the Steelers can come in and win the game. I also think the Bills could surprise some people, and they could win the game too. It's going to be a very close game. I think it's going to be an excellent game, to be quite honest with you. But in the end, I think the Steelers will find a way to get it done. What do you think?
It'd be tough to bet against the Steelers with Roethlisberger, Bell, and Brown. I mean, we're talking about three of the elite players at their positions in the league, and the Bills just aren't there yet. So that being said, this is the ultimate Rex. Boys, our backs are against the wall.
Right.
There is no margin for error anymore. If we don't win this game, we are done. Which gives me some pause to think that they can pull this off in like a 27-24 game. But Ben Roethlisberger in the fourth quarter, I think the Steelers find a way, especially since you just pointed out that they need this game as much as the Bills.
I think
almost as much as the Bills.
I think one of the keys in this game is going to be on defense. Marcel Darius and Kyle Williams are both playing really good right now. Darius, you just see, the more you see the guy play, you just want to bang his head against the wall for being a knucklehead, because they really need this guy on the field. And he's only played, I think it's 3 games, whatever it's been, 3 or 4 games, because of the suspension and because of his injuries that he had when he got back from suspension. The guy's a difference maker. And I think in this game, Williams and Darius, if they could push the pocket on Roethlisberger, who is great at escaping pressure, but you've got to be able to push it up the middle on Roethlisberger and get him outside. Because if he can sit in that pocket,
and step up. He's great at stepping up.
Steps up, or even side steps. He finds a way to. Brady does that too. Brady is not a great athlete, but he finds a way within the pocket.
They have a way
maneuver.
of buying that half second or that half step to allow them to get enough space to throw the ball.
Exactly. So I think the Bills, because what happens with Roethlisberger, Jeff, and this is how he kills teams. He extends plays by doing what we just said, and then the Bills are just not going to be able to cover Pittsburgh's wide receivers for that long. Antonio Brown is leading the league right now with 88 catches. The guy is tremendous. The Bills are weak at safety. So I really think up the middle pressure will be a key part of this game. If the Bills can do that with some consistency.
It'd be a nice game for Gilmore to step up, huh?
Exactly. I think they'd have a chance to win the game. I really do. And I think Pittsburgh's defense is not very good. They're okay defense, but the Bills can move the ball. And if Taylor, who we talked about at the top, can do something, can do anything, I think McCoy can play well and have some balance.
And Robert Woods is expected to be back.
I'm not sure he's going to play.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm real leery about
it. When last time I was here and you didn't think McCoy was going to play, he played. So.
I know. So I'm bad at – well, they lie to us all the time on injuries. That's why it's hard to predict. And we can't watch practice. But he was working limited basis the first 2 days of the week here, so I don't know. But even still, if Taylor can just do something, they'll be in the game and have a chance to win at home.
I'm favoring I'm 60-40 Steelers on this. Just when you talk about the quality of the quarterback, the quality of the overall play, and who's playing better right now. Yeah. So I'm going to go Steelers 27-24.
All right, so if they win this game, I think they're going to win the next 3 after that. I will pick them to win against Cleveland, against Miami, in Buffalo on Christmas Eve, and the Jets. So if they can win this one.
Going to New York is the ultimate payback for Rex.
Well, it could be, but they're terrible right now. They really are playing terrible. They've quit. They quit on Monday night.
All right, well,
that was a debacle. They're lost to the Colts.
A long time from now.
So I'm saying if they can somehow win this game, they'll have a chance to get to 10. And then guess what?
And make the playoffs.
And then it'll be the ultimate punch in the gut because 10 won't be enough.
There are people who
that'll be the punch in the gut.
Permutations and they think that they tend to get them in.
They have like a 4% chance according to the computer, so it's not going to happen. But I'm just saying, if they can get past this one, they'll have a look at 10.
What was that quote in Dumb and Dumber? So you're saying there's a chance.
Saying there's a chance. They'll have a look at 10 wins, and this is the one year it might not be good enough.
An hour-long show?
No, we're wrapping it up right now. You done?
Yeah,
you said enough?
I'm done.
All right.
Got the Dumb and Dumber in.
Believe me,
perfect.
If Jeff has had enough, I've certainly had enough. For Jeff, I am Sal Maiorana. We hope you enjoyed this edition of the Facebook Live version of SalSpeak. To find the podcast, go to iTunes, type in SalSpeak, and you'll have all of my podcasts on your phone for your listening pleasure. So have a great week. If you go to the Bills-Steelers game, have a good time. There's going to be a lot of terrible towels over there. A lot of Steelers fans will be traveling. I will estimate 15,000 will be here for this game. So if you're going to be a Bills fan this weekend, do it loud and proud at the stadium on Sunday afternoon. Have a great day, everybody.